The storm hit harder than any winter weather Aaron Blake had seen in his 5 years at the research station. Wind screamed against the metal walls, and snow piled up against the windows until he could barely see outside. He sat at his desk, reviewing data from his equipment when the power flickered. Not unusual during storms like this. What was unusual was the sound he heard during that brief moment of darkness. A soft thud. Like something small hitting the floor in another room. Aaron stood up slowly and walked toward the storage area at the back of the station. The door was closed just as he had left it. But something felt different. The air felt disturbed, like someone had just moved through it quickly. He opened the door and looked inside. Everything appeared normal. Boxes of supplies sat neatly stacked against the walls. Tools hung in their proper places. Nothing seemed out of order. But Aaron had worked alone in this isolated station for too long. He knew every sound, every shadow, every small detail of his home. And right now something was wrong. He closed the door and returned to his desk. Throughout the evening, he heard more small noises. A soft scraping sound. The faint rustle of plastic. Once he thought he heard breathing that was not his own. Each time he pretended not to notice. Whoever or whatever had entered his station was clearly trying very hard to stay hidden. And if they were trying that hard to hide, they were probably terrified. The next morning, Aaron noticed that half of a protein bar was missing from his supplies. A small blanket had been moved from the shelf where he kept it. 3 water pouches were gone. He stood in the storage room and looked around carefully. There were tiny drops of something blue on the floor, leading to a gap behind a stack of equipment boxes. Not water. Not oil. Something else. Aaron had heard stories from other researchers about the alien refugees. The galaxy was a dangerous place right now, especially for certain species. He had heard about the Kelith people, though he had never seen one in person. Small, fragile beings who could not survive in cold temperatures. Many were fleeing persecution, trying to find safe places to hide. He left the storage room and went to his kitchen area. He prepared a bowl of warm soup and placed it on a small tray with bread, more water, and 2 thick blankets. He carried the tray to the storage room and set it down on the floor near the gap behind the boxes. Then he stepped back and spoke in a gentle voice. "I know someone is here. I'm not angry. You are safe in this place. I left food and blankets for you. Please eat and stay warm. I will not hurt you. I will not report you to anyone. You can stay here as long as you need." He walked out and closed the door softly behind him. For the rest of the day, Aaron worked at his equipment and pretended nothing unusual was happening. He played soft music on his audio system. He hummed while he worked. He wanted whoever was hiding to understand that this was a peaceful place. A safe place. That evening when he checked the storage room, the soup bowl was empty. The blankets were gone. And there were more small blue drops on the floor, leading to a different hiding spot. Whoever was here had moved after eating. They were still alive and still afraid. Aaron continued his routine for 3 more days. Each morning he left food and water. Each evening the food was gone. He began leaving small treats as well. Fruit. Sweet cakes. Warm tea in a sealed container. He never tried to search for his hidden guest. He never made sudden movements or loud noises. He simply went about his work and made sure the station stayed warm and safe. On the 4th night, the storm finally began to ease. Aaron sat at his desk, reading reports on his data pad. The station was quiet except for the soft hum of the heating system. Then he heard a new sound. Footsteps. Very light and careful, but definitely footsteps. He did not turn around. He kept his eyes on his data pad and stayed very still. The footsteps came closer. They stopped a few feet behind him. Aaron could hear breathing now, quick and nervous. He slowly set down his data pad and spoke without turning around. "Hello. I am glad you are feeling strong enough to walk around. There is more food in the kitchen if you are hungry. The heating system keeps the whole station warm, so you do not need to stay in the storage room if you do not want to. This is your home now too for as long as you need it." The breathing behind him became faster. He heard a small sound almost like a whimper. Then a voice spoke, so quiet he almost missed it. "Please? I can work. I can help you. I can fix things. Please do not send me away." The voice was high and trembling. It spoke in basic galactic standard, the simple language used for trade and communication between species. The accent was unfamiliar, but Aaron understood every word. He turned around slowly in his chair. Standing near the doorway was the smallest alien he had ever seen. She was barely 4 feet tall, with pale blue skin that seemed almost translucent. Her eyes were large and dark, filled with fear. She wore torn clothing that looked like it had once been a flight suit. Her whole body was shaking, and not just from fear. She was still cold even in his heated station. Aaron kept his voice soft and calm. You do not need to work for me. You do not need to do anything except rest and get warm. You are safe here. I promise. The small alien shook her head quickly. Tears formed in her large eyes. No, please. I must help. I must be useful. If I cannot help, you will send me away. Everyone sends us away. We have nowhere to go. Please. I can work very hard. I learn quickly. Just please do not make me leave. Her voice broke on the last words and she wrapped her thin arms around herself. Aaron felt his heart break at the sight. This tiny being had been so desperate to survive that she had broken into his home during a deadly storm. She had hidden for days, terrified of being discovered. And even now, when he had shown her nothing but kindness, she still expected to be thrown out into the cold. Aaron stood up very slowly. He kept his movements gentle and non-threatening. He walked to the kitchen area and poured a cup of hot tea. Then he returned and held it out to her. My name is Aaron Blake. What is your name? The alien stared at the cup for a long moment. Then she reached out with trembling hands and took it. She held it close to her chest, soaking in the warmth. Lyssa, she whispered. My name is Lyssa. Aaron guided Lyssa to the small couch in his living area. She moved slowly, like every step required great effort. Her legs shook as she sat down, and she kept the warm teacup pressed against her chest. Even in the heated station, her pale blue skin looked cold and fragile. When did you last eat a real meal? Aaron asked gently. Lyssa looked down at the floor. 3 days before my ship crashed. Maybe 4 days. I do not remember well. Aaron felt anger rise in his chest, not at her, but at whatever had forced this small being to flee across space in a damaged ship with no food. He went to his kitchen and began preparing a proper meal. Rice, cooked vegetables, and protein strips that he heated until they were soft and easy to eat. He brought the plate to her and set it on the table. Eat slowly. Your stomach needs time to adjust. Lyssa stared at the food like she could not believe it was real. Then she began to eat, taking small careful bites. After a few minutes, tears started rolling down her face. She kept eating, but the tears would not stop. I am sorry, she whispered between bites. I am sorry for crying. I am sorry for breaking into your home. I am sorry for stealing your food. I had no choice. The storm was so cold and I could not find any other shelter. I thought I would die out there. Aaron sat down in the chair across from her. You do not need to apologize. You did what you needed to survive. That is not wrong. But I broke your trust. I entered without permission. In my culture, this is a terrible offense. You should be angry with me. I'm not angry. I'm only sad that you were so desperate. Tell me what happened. Why are you here alone? Lyssa finished eating and set down her plate with shaking hands. She pulled one of the blankets around her shoulders and took a deep breath. My people, the Kelith, we lived on a colony world in the outer sector. We were small and peaceful. We worked as engineers and technicians for many other species. We have a natural ability to sense electromagnetic fields and energy patterns. This made us very good at fixing complicated machines. She paused and wrapped the blanket tighter around herself. 6 months ago, some of our engineers were working on government communication systems. They found something in the data. Evidence of corruption. Money being stolen. Secret deals with criminal organizations. They reported it to the authorities like good citizens should do. Aaron felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. He already knew where this story was going. The government did not thank us, Lyssa continued, her voice growing quieter. Instead, they accused the Kelith of being spies and traitors. They said we had planted the evidence ourselves. Within 2 weeks, they began arresting my people. They shut down our businesses. They took our homes. Some Kelith disappeared and were never seen again. They wanted to silence you, Aaron said. Yes. My family helped me escape on a small cargo ship. It was old and barely functional, but it was all we could afford. I was supposed to reach a safe colony 3 systems away. But the ship's engine failed and I crashed here during the storm. I thought this station was abandoned. I was trying to find tools to fix my emergency beacon when you came home. She looked up at Aaron with those large dark eyes, and he saw pure terror in them. Please do not contact the authorities. They have orders to arrest any Kelith on sight. They say we are dangerous criminals. They say we are threats to security. But we only told the truth. That is all we did. Please, I will work for you. I will fix anything that is broken. I will clean. I will help with your research. Just please do not send me away. Aaron leaned forward and spoke firmly but kindly. Lyssa, listen to me carefully. You do not need to work for your safety. You do not need to earn the right to live. You are a person and you deserve help simply because you need it. I will not contact the authorities. I will not report you. You can stay here as long as necessary. Lyssa stared at him in shock. But why? You do not know me. I am a stranger. I am a criminal in the eyes of the law. Why would you risk yourself for me? Because it is the right thing to do. Because you are not a criminal, you are a refugee. And because no one should have to beg for the right to survive. Fresh tears rolled down Lyssa's face, but this time they seemed different. Not tears of fear but tears of relief and disbelief. She had clearly expected rejection or demands or conditions. The simple offer of unconditional help seemed to overwhelm her completely. Aaron stood up and went to his communication console. I have a friend who works with a refugee network. Let me contact him and see what options we have for getting you to safety. He sent a secure message to his friend Carl, who operated a medical supply route that sometimes helped refugees move between systems. The reply came back within an hour, and it was not good news. Lyssa, I need to tell you something, Aaron said, returning to the living area. The authorities are actively searching this sector for Kelith refugees. They have patrol ships checking every station and settlement. My friend says they have already captured 17 of your people in the last 2 weeks. Lyssa's face went completely pale. Her hands started shaking so badly that Aaron reached out and held them gently. But, he continued quickly, my friend also said the refugee network is working on a plan to move several Kelith to a protected colony in the neutral zone. It will take time to arrange, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Until then, you need to stay hidden here. They will search this station, Lyssa whispered. They search everywhere. Then we will be very careful. This station is remote and low priority. It might take them a while to get here. And if they do come, I will hide you properly. Lyssa looked around the small station. You would do this? You would lie to authorities for me? You could lose your job. You could be arrested too. Aaron squeezed her hands gently before letting go. Some things are more important than jobs or rules. Right now, keeping you alive is the most important thing. For the first time since emerging from hiding, Lyssa showed something other than fear on her face. A small, fragile smile appeared. I have heard stories about humans, she said softly. Other species say you are strange. They say you form bonds with anyone, even strangers. They say you have this odd sense of fairness that makes you help people you do not even know. I thought these were just stories. I did not believe they were true. They are true, Aaron said with a slight smile. We humans are very strange that way. Lyssa pulled the blanket closer around herself and looked at Aaron with wonder and gratitude. Then I am very lucky I crashed near a human's home. Despite Aaron's insistence that Lyssa should rest and recover, she refused to sit idle. On her second morning at the station, he found her in his workshop area, carefully examining his research equipment with intense focus. What are you doing? Aaron asked, carrying 2 cups of morning tea. Lyssa looked up, startled, like a child caught doing something she should not be doing. I'm sorry. I know you said I did not need to work, but I cannot just sit and do nothing. It makes me feel useless. Please let me help with something. Anything. Aaron set down the tea and looked at the equipment she had been studying. It was his electromagnetic field analyzer, a complicated device he used to measure energy patterns in the planet's atmosphere. The machine had been giving him problems for 3 months, producing inconsistent readings that made his research data unreliable. This machine is broken, Lyssa said quietly, running her small fingers along the outer casing. The energy flow is wrong. I can feel it. You can feel it? Aaron asked with curiosity. Lyssa nodded, pressing her palm flat against the metal surface. Her eyes closed in concentration. My species can sense electromagnetic fields naturally. It is how we survive on our home world, where dangerous energy storms happen without warning. We learn to feel the flow of electricity and magnetism the same way you humans feel heat or cold. She opened her eyes and pointed to a specific panel on the machine. The problem is here. Inside this section. Something is blocking the energy flow. It makes the readings jump and change incorrectly. Aaron felt a surge of excitement. He had been trying to identify that exact problem for months. He opened the panel carefully and looked inside. Everything appeared normal to his eyes, but he trusted Lyssa's unusual sense. Can you tell me exactly where the blockage is? Lyssa leaned closer, her hand hovering over the exposed circuits. She moved her fingers slowly through the air, like she was feeling for something invisible. Then she stopped and pointed to a small component deep in the mechanism. There. That connection point. Something is wrong with it. Aaron used his tools to carefully remove the component. When he examined it under magnification, He found a hairline crack that was nearly impossible to see with normal vision. That tiny crack had been causing electrical resistance, which created the inconsistent readings. He replaced the component with a new one and ran a test. The machine worked perfectly. Aaron stared at the display in amazement. "Lyssa, you just solved a problem that has been frustrating me for 3 months. In less than 5 minutes. Lyssa smiled shyly. "I told you I could help. May I look at your other equipment? I can feel that some of them are not working at full efficiency." Over the next week, Lyssa went through every piece of equipment in Aaron's station. She found small problems in a dozen different machines. A loose connection in the water filtration system. A failing capacitor in the heating control unit. An energy leak in the power distribution panel. Some of these problems Aaron had not even noticed yet, but they would have caused serious failures within months. She worked quickly and precisely, her small hands able to reach into tight spaces that Aaron's larger hands could not access. She asked intelligent questions about how each system functioned, learning the human technology with impressive speed. Within days she knew Aaron's station better than he did. But more than just technical skills, Aaron discovered that Lyssa had a gentle and thoughtful personality. She asked about his research and listened with genuine interest. She told him stories about Kelith culture and her family. She laughed at his jokes, even the bad ones. She always made tea for both of them in the mornings without being asked. They fell into an easy routine. Aaron worked on his research while Lyssa maintained the equipment and helped solve technical problems. In the evenings they cooked meals together and talked about everything from science to philosophy to their favorite foods. Aaron found himself looking forward to these conversations. The isolated station that had once felt lonely now felt like a real home. "You know," Aaron said one evening as they ate dinner together, "you are not just proving your worth to me. You are proving that you are a good friend." Lyssa looked up from her plate, surprise in her dark eyes. "Friend?" "Yes, friend. Is that okay?" A warm smile spread across her face, the kind of smile that reached all the way to her eyes. "Yes, that is very okay. I would be honored to be your friend, Aaron Blake." But their comfortable peace could not last forever. 2 weeks after Lyssa's arrival, Aaron's communication console lit up with an official message. He read it with growing concern while Lyssa worked on calibrating a sensor array across the room. "Lyssa," he called out, trying to keep his voice calm. "Come look at this." She walked over and read the message on the screen. Her face went pale. The message was from the Sector Patrol Authority. They were conducting increased security sweeps of all research stations and settlements in the region. They were specifically searching for illegal refugees and unauthorized aliens. All station operators were required to allow full inspections of their facilities. Failure to comply would result in immediate arrest and charges of harboring criminals. "They are coming here," Lyssa whispered. "When?" Aaron checked the schedule attached to the message. "Patrol ships will reach this area in 3 days. They will visit every station." Lyssa backed away from the console, her breathing becoming rapid and panicked. "I need to leave. I need to run. If they find me here they will arrest you too. You will lose everything because of me." "No." Aaron turned to face her firmly. "You are not running out into the wilderness to die. We have 3 days to prepare. We will hide you properly." "How?" "They will search everywhere. They have scanning equipment that can detect body heat and movement. There is nowhere I can hide that they will not find." Aaron thought quickly. His research station had several rooms and many storage areas, but Lyssa was right. Standard scanning equipment would detect her easily. Unless he could build a hiding place that blocked those scans. "Your electromagnetic sense," he said suddenly. "Can you detect scanning frequencies?" Lyssa nodded slowly. "Yes, I can feel most types of electromagnetic scanning." "Why?" "Because we are going to build you a hiding place that uses interference shielding. A compartment that will block their scans. But I need you to help me design it. You can sense the energy patterns better than any human technology." Hope flickered in Lyssa's eyes. "That might work. If we layer different types of shielding material in the right pattern, we could create a dead zone that their scanners cannot penetrate." They worked through the night, designing and building a hidden compartment inside Aaron's largest equipment cabinet. Lyssa used her unique senses to test each layer of shielding, adjusting and refining until the compartment became completely invisible to electromagnetic scanning. On the morning of the 3rd day, as they finished the last connections, Aaron's proximity alarm activated. A patrol vehicle was approaching the station. They were early. "Get inside now," Aaron said urgently. Lyssa climbed into the hidden compartment, her face tight with fear. Aaron sealed the panel and activated the shielding. Then he took a deep breath and went to welcome the patrol officers who would decide both their fates. Aaron opened the station door to find two patrol officers standing in the cold morning air. The first was a tall Vraxian with gray-scaled skin and cold yellow eyes. The second was a human woman with short black hair and a stern expression. Both wore the dark blue uniforms of sector security and carried scanning devices on their belts. "Engineer Aaron Blake?" the Vraxian officer asked in a deep voice.
"Yes, that is me.
"Please come inside out of the cold." The officers entered and looked around the small station with suspicious eyes. The human officer pulled out a data pad and checked something on the screen. "I am Officer Torres and this is Officer Kelith. We are conducting security inspections of all facilities in this sector. You are aware of the current refugee situation." "I received the notice about increased patrols," Aaron said, keeping his voice steady and calm. "What exactly are you looking for?" Officer Kelith moved closer, his large frame making Aaron's living area feel smaller. "We are searching for illegal aliens, specifically members of the Kelith species. They are wanted for crimes against the government. Have you seen or had contact with any Kelith individuals?"
"No, I have not. I work alone here. This is a remote research station.
I rarely see anyone except supply ships once a month." Officer Torres began walking through the station, her eyes scanning every corner. "We still need to conduct a full search. Standard procedure. This will not take long if you cooperate." Aaron nodded and stepped aside. His heart was pounding but he forced himself to appear relaxed and unbothered. Inside the hidden compartment across the room, Lyssa was listening to every word. The compartment was dark and cramped. Lyssa sat curled in a tight ball, trying to control her breathing and stay absolutely silent. She pressed her hand against the metal wall and focused her senses outward, feeling the electromagnetic fields that filled the station. She could sense the officers' scanning devices even before they activated them. Officer Torres pulled out a handheld scanner and began moving through the rooms. The device emitted a steady pulse of electromagnetic energy, searching for heat signatures and movement. Lyssa felt each pulse like a wave passing through her body. She concentrated on the shielding Aaron had built, feeling the way it dispersed and redirected the scanner's energy. The shielding was holding. The scanner could not detect her. But the officers were thorough. They searched the bedroom, checking under the bed and inside the closet. They examined the bathroom and supply storage. They opened every cabinet and looked behind every piece of furniture. Officer Kelith used a different scanner, one that searched for biological signatures and genetic markers. Lyssa felt this scanner's unique frequency and adjusted her position slightly, staying in the exact center of the dead zone where the shielding was strongest. "You live here alone?" Officer Torres asked, examining Aaron's kitchen area. "No family? No assistants?" "Just me," Aaron replied. "I prefer the solitude. It helps me focus on my research." "What kind of research?" Officer Kelith asked suspiciously. "Atmospheric electromagnetic patterns. I measure energy fluctuations in the planet's magnetic field. It is very boring work actually." Officer Torres stopped near the large equipment cabinet where Lyssa was hidden. She ran her scanner along the cabinet's surface, and Lyssa felt the scanning pulse intensify. She held her breath and pressed herself flatter against the compartment walls. The shielding flickered slightly in her senses, and for a terrifying moment she thought it might fail. But the scanner moved on. "This is a lot of equipment for one person," Torres commented. "Electromagnetic research requires sensitive instruments. Most of these machines monitor different energy frequencies simultaneously." The officers continued their search, moving to Aaron's workshop area. Lyssa remained frozen in her hiding place, tracking their movements through her electromagnetic sense. She could feel their body heat, their personal devices, even the electrical impulses in their nervous systems. Two distinct human pattern signatures moving through the station. Then she heard something that made her blood turn cold. Officer Kelith was standing near the workshop, speaking in a low voice to his partner. But the station's ventilation system carried sound in strange ways, and his words reached Lyssa's hiding place clearly. "How many Kelith have we captured in this sector so far?" he asked. 23, Officer Torres replied quietly. "Command wants them all found within the next 2 weeks." "And then what?" "What happens to them after we capture them?" There was a long pause before Torres answered. "The purge orders are classified, but you know what happens. They are not being sent to trial. They are not being deported. Command wants this problem eliminated completely." Lyssa's hands flew to her mouth to stop herself from making a sound. Purge orders. Eliminated. They were not hunting her people to arrest them. They were hunting them to kill them. Every Kelith they captured was being executed in secret. Her whole body began to shake. She pressed her forehead against the cold metal wall and fought against the terror that threatened to overwhelm her. All of her people who had been captured, who she had hoped might be in detention centers waiting for legal help, they were already dead. Her friends, her colleagues, maybe even her family. Keep your voice down, Officer Kelith hissed. These orders are not public knowledge. If people knew the government was executing refugees without trial, there would be protests and investigations. Which is exactly why we need to work quickly, Torres said. The faster we complete this sweep, the faster this whole situation goes away. They returned to the main living area where Aaron waited. Officer Torres looked at her data pad and made some notes. Your station appears clean. No signs of unauthorized occupants. But we will be conducting random follow-up inspections over the next few weeks. If you see anything suspicious or have any contact with Kelith refugees, you are required by law to report it immediately. Failure to report is a serious crime. I understand, Aaron said. Officer Kelith stepped closer, staring down at Aaron with those cold yellow eyes. Harboring fugitives carries a minimum sentence of 10 years in a detention facility. Just so you are clear about the consequences. I am clear. Thank you for the warning. The officers left, their patrol vehicle lifting off and disappearing into the cloudy sky. Aaron waited until he could no longer hear the engine. Then he waited another 10 minutes to be absolutely certain they were gone. Finally, he rushed to the equipment cabinet and opened the hidden compartment. Lyssa practically fell out, gasping for air. Her face was wet with tears and her whole body trembled violently. Aaron caught her before she collapsed and helped her to the couch. Lyssa, you are safe now. They are gone. The shielding worked perfectly. They did not detect you. But Lyssa could not stop shaking. She grabbed Aaron's arms and looked up at him with desperate, terrified eyes. They are killing us, she whispered. The officers said there are purge orders. They are not arresting my people. They are executing them. Everyone they have captured is already dead. Aaron felt rage and horror wash over him. He pulled Lyssa into a gentle embrace while she sobbed against his shoulder. I heard them talking about the corruption evidence, Lyssa continued, her voice muffled and broken. That is why they want us eliminated. Dead witnesses cannot testify. Dead engineers cannot prove what they found. The government would rather murder an entire species than face justice for their crimes. Aaron held her tighter. Then we will make sure you survive. We will get you to safety. And somehow we will make sure the truth comes out. But how? I'm just one small person. What can I do against an entire corrupt government? You have proof, do not you? The data your people found? Lyssa pulled back and wiped her eyes. Yes. It is still in my crashed ship. I encrypted it and hid it in the ship's memory core. But what good is data if no one will listen? Aaron stood up with determination in his eyes. Then we will find someone who will listen. Someone who cannot be silenced or threatened. But first, we need to retrieve that data before someone else finds your ship.